Tonight is Meatless Monday and we're gonna have some nacho taters. This is something that our family of 4 made last week or 2 weeks, and so they looked good and they said they were good, so I'm gonna try them out. I have the potatoes cooking in the oven. That will take about 45 minutes, but we have plenty of time. So I'm gonna do a homemade enchilada sauce, which this is a Budget Bites recipe, the potatoes are. And this is her enchilada sauce recipe with it. You could use canned to make it easier, but y'all know I'm not gonna do that. So this is how easy it is. This is all the ingredients. She says vegetable oil, I always use olive oil. Chili powder, tomato paste, cayenne pepper, salt, flour, cumin, garlic powder, and then some water. So I'm just following her recipe and I will let y'all know if it tastes good. So we baked the potatoes, and I really suck at opening them because I made them all messy. And we put some of the enchilada sauce in there. And now we're putting some beans. And then we're gonna add corn and cheese. And then put it back in the oven to melt.
Jalapenos and that stuff. What's up, Joe?
Okay. Hopefully they're good. They turned out pretty good. Jared really liked it for a meatless meal. He ate most of his baked potato, which is really surprising. So it's a good meatless dinner. If y'all try it out, let me know. For dinner tonight, we're finally having Pioneer Woman's pot roast again because last time we made it, it was so good. So here's all the ingredients that we're gonna need. We got our pretty pot roast, or our chuck roast that I got from the farmer's market. It's a little over 2 pounds. So it was $10 a pound, so it better come out good. It's supposed to be grass-fed beef from a local farm or something. We're also going to use some beef stock, some red wine, some carrots, onion, fresh rosemary, and I don't have fresh thyme, so we're just going to use dried, and then just salt and pepper. So first, we're going to season the meat with the salt and pepper. Okay, after I season the meat with lots of salt and pepper, I cut up 1 onion and 3 carrots, and I have some olive oil heating up in the pan, and I'm going to add the onions first and brown them on both sides for about a minute each side. Alright, it's really loud, sorry. I cooked the onions about a minute on each side, got them nice and brown, and then you add in the carrot. It's good if it's sizzling a lot, and we're just going to cook those for about a minute. Or we're not cooking them, we're just getting them brown. We're going to cook those and then add those to the plate. And then we'll add the meat. I let the onions and carrots cook for about a minute each. Then I added a little bit of olive oil back to the pan, so medium high, and we're just browning the meat on both sides. Okay, after I let the roast brown on every side, I put it in the crock pot. Pioneer Woman cooks hers in the oven, but I don't have that oven or Dutch oven or whatever that you can put in your oven. So I'm using the crock pot. That's why I'm doing this early in the morning to cook it on high all day. But I put the meat in there, and now I'm going to deglaze the pan with about a ½ cup of red wine. And you're just supposed to whisk it to get up all that good brown stuff that came from the onions and the carrots and the meat. Last time I used beef broth for this part, but I wanted to use red wine. I'm looking forward to it this time to see if it tastes much different. Okay, after I whisked the red wine for a bit, I put it in here in the crock pot with the meat and then put in the veggies, and now I'm going to add probably like 2 cups of beef stock. And I added the beef stock and it's looking beautiful. Now we're just going to add a couple of sprigs of fresh rosemary, and you want to make sure that you submerge them into the liquid. And then I'm going to add about that much of dried thyme, maybe 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm just going to put the lid on and let it cook for like, I don't know, 8 hours on high. I think that's what I did the last time. And we'll show y'all when it's done. It's now 1 o'clock, and I just wanted to say that I went ahead and switched it to low. I had it on high, and I was questioning that. So I was like Googling other crock pot roast recipes, whether they cooked them on high or low. and a lot of them said low, so I went ahead and turned it down to low. So we'll see how it comes out. So the roast is looking good. It's pretty much done. I put it on warm. It's a little after 5 o'clock. For the sides, I was going to simply just do mashed potatoes and green beans. That's what I had. But I went and picked up our first CSA haul today. And that's what I've been doing for the past couple hours, is trying to figure out how to store that stuff and what to do with it. But I did get some turnips, 2 turnips. So we've never really eaten turnips, and I read that you could put them like with mashed potatoes. So that's what I'm going to do. I had 2 big turnips and I washed them and peeled them and I put them in here with the potatoes, just some yellow potatoes. And I'm going to cover this with water and boil it and cook those. And then the other side, instead of green beans, I had some, like in our CSA haul, we had some Swiss chard and some mustard greens. So I'm going to try out something with those. I just washed them and cut them up and have them mixed. And so I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've just kind of been looking up ways to cook this stuff. So I'll show you what I do. Okay, here's what I'm doing with the greens. I've got a little less than a tablespoon each of olive oil and butter, and melting that over medium-low heat. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of garlic that I minced up, and just very few crushed red pepper flakes because I don't want it to be too spicy. After I let that saute for about a minute, I'm going to add, got about 4 cups of greens here. It's a mixture of Swiss chard and mustard greens. I'm just going to stir it to coat it, and then cover it and let it cook for about 8 minutes. And then for the potatoes, I'm just gonna do them like I normally do potatoes, and hopefully, I mean, I don't think there's much turnip in there. I don't think it'll taste weird or anything. And if it does, we have that delicious roast juice going all over it anyway. So I'll just add like some milk, butter, and some sour cream. I don't usually add sour cream, but we're gonna try that out this time. And then like salt and pepper. So that big old 4 cups of the leafy greens, this is all that it made, which is like for 1 person. So I chopped up what we had left and I'm gonna just saute it in some olive oil real quick and then mix it all together to have a little bit more. Alright, here it is all done. I'm really disappointed in the amount of greens that it ended up being, and I could have, like I had kale and a bunch of other greens from the CSA I could have used, but it's time to eat and I didn't want to. But here's mine. I got my mashed taters with the roast on it and the greens that came out pretty good, I think. So I will post the recipes that we used for this. And I can't taste the turnips and the potatoes, but like I said, it wasn't much. There's our delicious Wednesday dinner. What we're having for dinner tonight on Monday, it's Memorial Day. I've already been cooking for a while, but I'll show you. It's King Ranch chicken casserole. I'm starting to put it together. I had like 1.2 pounds of chicken, so I boiled that and shredded it. And I got half of it here in the bottom of a 9x13 pan. And the sauce, this is made with no cream of soups, you know, cream of chicken or cream of mushroom. That's usually in King Ranch casserole. So the sauce, it was just 6 tablespoons of butter, and then 2 cloves of garlic, and then 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of chicken broth, and then, oh, and some flowers in there, and then like garlic powder, cumin, chili powder, and salt and pepper. So that's what's in the sauce, and I'm going to pour half of that over the chicken. So I spread half of the sauce on top. Now I'm going to layer it with 6 corn tortillas, and I'll tear them as needed. And then we shredded a bunch of cheese. It calls for 8 ounces of shredded cheese, and we're going to put half of the cheese on top of the tortillas. Then I'm going to drizzle a half a cup of chicken broth over the whole thing, and then I'm going to repeat the layers. So I did 2 layers of everything, and now I had just drained a can of Rotel, and I'm going to sprinkle that all over the top. And I diced up almost all of a jalapeno, sprinkled that on top. Now I'm going to cover it with foil and bake for 15 minutes in a 350-degree oven, and then remove the foil and bake for 30 more minutes. And it will be ready. And I've also had some beans cooking for a couple hours, trying out some homemade pinto beans. Got to add some salt to it and some Rotel. My grandma always does that and they're good, so hopefully they come out good. Okay, here it is all done after 30 minutes. It looks so pretty and I'd already messed it up. And we got the beans, just a couple of cups of beans, boiled in water for a couple hours. And then I added some salt, a little too much. I added 2 teaspoons of salt. I should have just done, probably could have gotten by with 1 teaspoon. And then I added a can of Rotel. So this is what we're having. I feel bad that we don't really have any veggies, but this meal took a while, so it's a good meal to do on a weekend or if you don't have to work. So we'll be having leftovers tomorrow since I'm going back to work. And since I didn't really make any veggies, I just cut up what we had left of a cucumber and a tomato. So here's our dinner. Monday's dinner is leftovers. Woo woo! But this time I added some greens. We cooked some more of the greens from our CSA. Last week I did Swiss chard and mustard greens, and this time I cooked it the exact same way but it's kale and spinach.
Word up.
Does it taste okay?
Yeah.
So I'll include that recipe below. It's very, very simple, and I guess you could do it with any greens. Oh, this is a little bland. I don't think Jared cared for it that much, even though I've made it.
Hot sauce on it.
Even though I've made it before and everybody seemed to enjoy it, but maybe you could season the chicken.
I told her to do that.
He kept telling me to season the chicken yesterday and I didn't. So maybe season the chicken before cooking it, whatever. Or throw some more spices into the sauce.
Throw
And
some hot sauce on it. It's good.
or salsa. But it's better than using those cream of mushroom and cream of chicken soups. And the beans are amazeballs.